Does seem as time goes on, trading gets more and more overwhelming. EA continues to release promos, and with each promo brings a whole lot of other cards. And with all of these cards, it does open opportunities for there to be new trading methods as part of the game. But when it comes to trading with these types of special cards, it really doesn't need to be complicated. And today we're going through a trading method that couldn't be any easier, and it can potentially add millions of coins to your account. But before we do get into the video, if you're looking to skip trading and just get to the point where you have coins available, then there is no better place than Iowa. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast FIFA 23 coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 3% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Nice. With today's trading method, we are going back to the basics. We are going to be looking at different types of promos that have already been part of FIFA 23. And we're going to go back to revisit them to see what each player's price currently is, to see if we can get ourselves a good deal. Now with this type of method, there is a bit of setup. Of course, I'm not expecting you to remember every single player that's been part of every single previous team of the week. And a good thing is that you don't need to remember it. You can use a site such as Footbin, which will contain all previous team of the weeks as well as other promos that have been released, and you can go all the way back through. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom and there you go, you're able to see the first teams that have been added. You're firstly going to visit Team of the Week 1 and you're going to see the players that are available. Now with this, you do not need to go through every single one of them. It's really not worth looking at the most expensive players. Anyone above 50k, even if you have enough coins to buy into them, it's not worth looking at just because there is just way too much attention around them. But everyone else, you should be spending time looking at each player's price, and that's exactly all you need to do. With each player on FIFA Ultimate Team, you're going to go over to the transfer search and you're going to type in each player. You're going to find their lowest buy now, and all you're going to do is compare. This becomes really easy, and this really is the selling point when looking at some of the older players within FIFA, simply because there's not that many of them listed onto the transfer market as what there once was, especially compared to some of the most recent players that have just been released into packs. The reason these players are so rare is because there wasn't as many people opening packs at the beginning. For Team of the Week 1, this was released before FIFA was released, so the only people that had access were those that had the Ultimate Edition and those that were actually willing to go and spend money on FIFA points, because most people that were grinding packs at that point wasn't able to do it through Foot Champions because Foot Champions wasn't available. So there was already a limited amount of people that were able to get these players for Team of the Week 1. We also need to take into consideration that since then there's been loads of SBCs that's been released, and a lot of the players that you could throw into these SBCs if it requires a Team of the Week player, it would be those from the previous Team of the Weeks, the cheapest ones. So there becomes less players listed on the market because all of them have been removed. And finally, we also need to take into consideration that there's loads of people that did initially start FIFA 23, they managed to get these players into their club, and they got bored after a week or two, and they haven't come back to go and list those players back on the market to put it back into circulation. They've just stopped playing the game with these types of Team of the Weeks still within their club, and all of this adds to these players getting rarer and rarer over time. With these ones, for some of them, you can find just a couple pages worth, and that's very easy to manage when trying to find the lowest buy nows to see if there is a difference. And that's what you're looking out for. You're not doing anything too crazy, you're just typing in each player's name, and if you come across a player where the lowest buy now is 14,000 coins and the next cheapest, the second lowest buy now is 15,500 coins, you could very easily buy the one listed at 14k, list it to be 15,250, still be the cheapest on the market, but once yours sells, you're able to make a couple hundred coins in profit. And this is all you need to do. You need to go through each player individually, type their name in, find their lowest buy now, compare the prices around them to see if there is a difference. Remember to take into consideration that 5% EA tax. And if there's still room for you to make profit, you're going to buy the cheapest, list it at that higher price, and just let it be. They may not sell first time, but if you do keep on relisting, eventually they will go. If you come across a player where there are no good deals, that's fine, move on to the next, and you just keep this going through each player's name. Once you've completed Team of the Week 1, you're going to carry on doing this through Team of the Week 2, Team of the Week 3, Team of the Week 4, and then you can also look at some of the other types of promos that have been available. So you can also look at one to watch. One to watch, there are some players which are worth looking at. Of course, there's a lot which are very expensive. And as I said at the beginning, if they are above 50,000 coins, it's not worth looking at. But there are other players valued less than 50k, and those are the ones in which you should consider. There does become a point where you should probably stop looking at players, and that's once you get closer to the current date. If you're looking at any of the last 4 to 5 Team of the Weeks which have been released, it's likely that you're not going to find many deals, and you're probably going to find many players available in the market with there not being too much of a price difference between them. It's a waste of your time looking at these types of teams, but once you have gone through everyone, you could just go all and look at the market with a completely new fresh set of eyes. You'll just go through this whole process again. Another thing worth looking out for is not just the buy nows. The buy nows is extremely easy to do. If there's a trade that you can buy into and there's room for you to make profit, then you should be doing it, but you also should keep an eye out for some of the bids. Yet again, because these are some of the older players which were being part of Team of the Weeks as well as other promos, they haven't got the most amount of demand, which means when other players see them listed on the transfer market and they're going to expire within the next 30 to 45 seconds, they're not eager to bid on them. So the chances are you could win quite a few. There's times when these types of players are listed 1, 2, 3,000 coins below their lowest buy now. They've got 30 seconds left and no one's placing a bid on them. That's where I've been able to come in quickly, notice them, quickly place a bid on, win them, and make a couple thousand coins in profit. You'll also notice this when actually going through the buy nows as well. Sometimes a player could be listed a couple thousand coins below their lowest buy now, and they've been on the market for 10-15 minutes before anyone has noticed them. For some of these players, you'll also be able to get more than just one deal per card. What I mean by this is sometimes you'll search a player, and let's just say there's 3 currently listed, all at 15,000 coins. You may think that there's no room for you to make profit until you realize that the 4th cheapest may be 17,000 coins. Now, if you have the coins to actually do this, you could look at buying all 3 of those at 15k and list them anywhere between 16,500 to 17,000. In some situations, what I do is list one for 17,000 coins so that I'm joint the cheapest and then hold the other 2 back. That way I'm not flooding the market. Once my card sells for 17k, that's when I'll list the 2nd card. Wait for that one to sell, and then finally, once that one's gone, I'll list the 3rd and final card yet again for 17k. There's so many different ways in which you can make coins with this type of trading method, and that's what makes it so good. And the good thing is that this is only the beginning. We've only just reached the point of where you can go back through some of these older players and go through them to see if you can find any good trades. This is only just started working. As time goes on, this builds up more and more and more, as there'll be more promos which have gone and passed and been completely forgotten, and that is where you can come in and you can just search some of these players. When it comes to selling them, you do need to be patient. We did briefly mention that they're not always going to be selling first time. You will be able to get loads of deals and you will be able to get some players which will sell within that first hour, but just like most things, patience is key. One of the best things that you can do is list for 12 hours overnight. That is when there are less players available in the market, and if anyone is looking to buy into a card which you currently have listed, they have no choice but to go for yours. If you want to be strategic about this, you can also increase your players by an extra 500 to 1,000 coins depending on how many of them are listed onto the market. In a lot of cases, because there's less items available for the 12 hours overnight, you can actually increase their price to maximize the most amount of coins. But if you are just struggling to sell, just make sure that you're listing for 12 hours and I'm sure they will sell. Now that this trader method is working really well for me, I'm going to carry on going through it. At the time of recording this video, Team of the Year is about a month and a half away, and I'm going to try to get as many coins as possible. I'm going to be using this method to throw into as many different Team of the Weeks as well as other promos, try and get a little bit of an increase on the amount of coins when I sell them on, and then once I get those coins back, I'm immediately going back through to find even more trades. Now with this video, we've mainly been focusing on Team of the Weeks. I have been saying that you can do this with other promos, and you can. There is no promo that you can't do this with. You just need to make sure that there are players that have been part of the game for a very long time, so that there's been enough time for them to get somewhat rarer onto the transfer market. so there isn't as many of them, and it makes life incredibly easy for you to compare the player prices, with there also being room for there to be profit in between each player. So I've been using the old team of the weeks, but by all means look at some of the hero teams, one to watch, road to the knockouts, rule breakers, they're also available, out of positions, you know, you name it. There are loads of different teams that you can be looking at to go and do this with. You can also go and do this with icons, but with icons it's slightly trickier because it's above that 50k threshold. And when you do look at that 5% EA tax, it's not just taking a couple hundred coins anymore, it's taken thousands of coins. It's a lot harder to find deals with icons, but when you do find one, you tend to be able to make a lot more. You just need to be extremely patient to go and find a good deal with them. With these ones though, the special cards that we've been looking at for this video, and some of them which I've just said, you'll be able to find a deal every couple of minutes. No exaggeration, this is incredibly easy to go through. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.